So as Ed said, we've had you in the office and it has been a welcome change because, to be honest, for us, you know, yourself and your wife Laura have been awesome supporters of ours. We've sort of known each other for a little while now, and you have both been really, really good sounding boards for different aspects of our business. And it's kind of weird how you have come in at that, you know, the time that you have because, yeah, we've sort of forged a really strong relationship. But some of the conversations that we've had in our office have been really, really deep, and they've gone for hours at a time.
Yeah.
But they've happened at times where we've needed to have them, and it's been super insightful to have a different perspective. You know, I think you've probably got a pretty good grasp of a lot of the things that we do at TradeMutt, and a lot of it's super close to you.
Yeah, yours is probably my favorite business. I'll be honest. No, seriously, I'm not.
You've got the podcast.
I'm not
6
fucking
months,
blowing.
for
I'm not
fuck's
fucking
sake,
blowing smoke. Keep playing me.
Have we signed a contract?
Yeah, it's all signed
This week to week. I've got to keep earning it. Now, I've done a lot of work with charities in the past. Me and Laura, obviously everybody listening probably doesn't know we have a production company, and we started it because we did a lot of work with charities, and we want to funnel it down the path of working with charities, NGOs, and profit for purpose and people with causes. It's like our favorite thing to do. And yeah, I just think the reason I love what you guys are doing is it's so genuine, but also effective. You know, like it's like every time I come back into the office, you're like, new milestone, getting this feedback. We've managed to affect this many people. And it's like, holy shit. Every time I go home, and the other reason I like hanging around is every time I go home to Laura, I'm like, fuck, I feel pumped. like these guys are fucking, you know what I mean? Like
feeding off the energy.
Yeah. Because it can be hard when you run a business and things stagnate a bit and you need a bit of motivation. Like everybody tends to watch Tony Robbins and Kevin Hart and all that kind of stuff, but I prefer to turn to people I know, and you two, I think, are definitely people who are doing well there. So,
well, that's really, yeah. Thanks. I mean, for us, I think for me particularly, I feel like, obviously we work hard, but there's I don't know, there's so many aspects of this business that kind of just fell into place when it was supposed to, and obviously we're really driving hard behind it. But yeah, I don't know, it's a funny one because sometimes things just happen. It's just like, what the hell? Because there's a lot of other businesses out there that are doing really good work or have their hearts in the right place that, things may not have gone, their way at different times. So I'm under no illusion that it doesn't just happen for, a lot of people.
I would argue it's not just happened for you. I think if I think back to the day I met you guys, I remember Laura came home and she was like, I met two guys at a networking event. You got to fucking meet them. She's like, they're amazing.
I remember her at that event at fucking Fishburners. Remember that? She had all her hair out, like Laura to give an example of what Laura looks like. She's got this like brown complexion with freckles, and she's got this fucking hair. It's awesome.
She's
it's like
a
super frizzy. Yeah,
she's a scouser.
She's half. Her dad's Caribbean, black Caribbean. Mum is white, see-through ginger person. Right, and it's this mix
hybrid.
They weren't from that ad, the tea ad. Oh, Twoops, yeah. How wonderful. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No idea.
All right, I'm going to get the link to this ad on this thing because it sounds exactly like that scenario.
But anyway, she's like this clash in the middle. But yeah, she has afro hair that I spend most of my life hearing about.
I think your boy's got that hair too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he came out with more hair than I do. He's just fucking, it's corkscrewing already. She came home and she was like, was at a networking event and everyone's wearing cocktail dresses, or like business attire, all that shit. Everyone's trying really hard. And she said, these two guys walking, fucking flip-flops, rugby shorts, high vis, and just started mingling with everybody. And everybody was kind of like, what are they doing here? Did someone let the aircon technicians in?
So true. We just don't give a shit.
It's awesome. Anyway, and then I met you. I remember we went to a podcasting event, and this is exactly what I'm going to say about it. I don't think it's just happened. We went to that podcasting event. Which wasn't very good. But
that's right. Yeah,
I remember.
It was all right.
I asked that question. Keep going.
Right. Room full of suits. Everybody's doing the whole corporate thing where they're trying to really, they're not there to actually learn anything or network. They're there just to show off, right?
Yeah.
And the questions round comes in and you fucking stand up in your high vis and you're like, what did you ask? It was about the analytics,
I was
wasn't it?
like, yeah.
How do you do it?
Yeah, I was like, this is probably wrong, but we use Whooshka. And is the analytics any good on that? And they were just like, who the fuck are you?
Like, you're not our crowd. But
Yeah.
To be fair, that was a question that we needed to know.
You
We
need to
would-
know, yeah. I need to stand up and put my balls on the line for no reason.
Right, so here's my point. The reason I'm bringing that up is I would love to know how many people in that crowd actually have a podcast now, and then look at what you guys have done with this podcast. Like, fuck. And my point there is that you guys don't give a shit what people think, right? So you just strolled in, fucking, you needed to know, so you asked the question. The other thing is, right? No, the other thing, and this is a serious point. Like, you've put in, it's been consistency over time for you guys. Whereas I think lots of businesses tend to want quick wins. It's that like startup culture of get investment and pitching all the time. And you guys just were like, I don't know, let's sell some shirts. And then when we've got the money, let's build on that and build on that and build on that. And then how long have you been in business now?
It must be like
since the 15th of March 2018.
So it must be, yeah, like 2 years and 4
Yeah.
2
months.
years and 5 months.
Yeah.
5 months. Jeez, maths. Quick maths. Yeah.
But yeah, here you are. And it didn't just happen, right? Like,
No, it didn't, but we were lucky. We were fortunate because from our backgrounds, we're both working class, as it might sound.
Well, that's who this podcast
Podcast
is
is
for.
for. Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. And so we've always been doers in the fact that all our work evolved around being able to start a day, not see something. By the end of the day, you could. So it's my first job was, working on cattle stations and like you start, in the morning with 5,000 fucking head in a set of cattle yards, and hopefully by the end of the day you got at least half that. You know what I mean? So you can see the progress. And then the same with building. It was like you rock up, there's an old root like stuffed deck there.
Yeah.
You got to rip it up and rebuild it. And by the end of the day, you can see it. And we've just always done.
That's
our
where
business.
where our wins started.
But we've always done everything like that. Not just through our products, but also with the podcast. Like, okay, we just, got the kit and then we're like, righto, well, let's just find someone to interview and then let's record it and then let's try and work out how to edit it. And then, you know what I mean? Rather than just sitting there wanting it all in one go, going, fuck, we need 10,000 listens an episode.
But that started, like you said, it started for the show, but it started, when we were working on job sites, like we were working 7 days a week for a long time. We were working cashies, like Saturdays and Sundays while our mates were getting up, the piss, we were out working Saturdays. Look, a lot of times we'd piss our money up against the wall, but there was a point in time when we got our heads together and we were like, well, why don't we just, if we're both going to work as hard as each other, why don't we just not spend the money? We'll just pool it up and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
And we started doing that, and then suddenly it was like,
let's see how far we can push this.
But then it was like, we've got $5,000 here, like, and then like he'd be out because I was the keep,
Dan was the one. Dan was bookkeeping back then, so
He'd
I had to
be
keep
going,
the finger on the
he'd be
pulse.
going, where are we at now? And I'd be going, and then we just started to build up this little kitty of cash, and it was like, even just that in itself, that little win, starting to see those wins, starts to give you the belief that maybe you can actually do something. You know what I mean? Right back there.
Well, we saved some money.
$30,000.
Yeah, we saved like a couple. Are going to do very well to save $30,000. In the time we did.
We were working hard.
We were working. Like looking back, we were looking in.
Right. So did it just happen? Like, no, because that's the other thing. Like when we started our business, I was working Laura was working full time in a high pressure kind of she was a state manager for a recruitment company, big hours, big stress, sales job, good money, but it was just mental, bad for her health. I was an in-house video content creator for an education provider. So I was working full time. And for 6 months before we started our business, I was literally getting up at, I don't know, 6 a.m. I'm an early riser anyway. I was doing 2 hours, going to work, doing fucking 8 hours, coming home, doing another 2-3 hours, and then doing both weekend days, to build enough momentum to the point where we could then go, all right, we've got clients, we've got money in the bank, and we're set for success. Now let's make the jump.
Yeah.
But most people chart business success from when the business starts, and it's not like it just isn't.
Yeah, you can get a website and like an ASIC thing set up in a day and a half. Like,
Right.
yeah, it takes a lot longer to build a business in a day and a half.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's also everything that goes on before, even before you get to that point. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, the hard thing is, and we've talked about this a lot, is the culture of starting a business. There's such a weird, complex thing now where it's like, yeah, I've got a brainy idea like an app or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I've got to go and raise all this money to go and do it. It's like you need to start selling something.
Well, right. Well, I mean, that's a really good point. I think
Like people just forget that they need to sell something.
a business is just services or products for cash. That's all it is.
Yeah, I know.
The other thing for us is when we sold our first shirt, it wasn't, oh, we're also going to do a podcast and start a charity and start doing TradeMutt Toolbox Talks and do, have fucking 10 staff. That wasn't it. It was just, let's just sell a shirt. You know what I mean? And it's...
But there's an important lesson there, right?
Yeah.
And I think the important thing there is that if you would have known where you are now and used that at the start as this is where we want to be, you wouldn't have made it there.
No, but we literally have never had a goal around anything like that, have we?
There wasn't. It's
That's weird,
they're,
looking back.
You are right. There was never a goal to that's weird. That is. It was always just the next thing. What's the next thing?
Yeah. What are we doing?
So I think that, I mean, sorry, I think it applies to business. I think it applies to everything. I think that is by far the best way to get where you need to go.
Vulnerability.
I've got
Putting yourself out there,
shit. Here we go.
risking failure.
I've got a
That's-
random thing. We've got to get a kettle in here. So
What
I
do
can
you
just
mean?
keep topping up my
Keep the tea going.
Keep the tea
But
going.
you get one of those that keep the temperature for it just keeps it at the temperature.
I've
and you
just realised another brew would be fantastic.
Like old mate in China.
We went to China.
When we
Do I
went-
we told you that story?
We went to check out. When we went to check our first batch of shirts.
Yeah.
And what are we calling him? It's
We
not,
call him Gao, but I don't know what his name was. It's just this massive, big. He looked like Buddha, but he had hair.
He did look like Buddha. And his wife, he had this big teetotaling table that had this whole setup in the back of the room, and his wife was in the chair.
Right.
We were sort of talking with her, and then this guy came in like he actually was Buddha, and she upped and got out of his
Yeah,
seat.
she just bailed. He
And
sat
just
down.
Came in, he just starts pouring his tea, and next minute we're smoking ciggies with
Yeah,
him.
mate. Well, he couldn't speak English,
Right.
and we couldn't speak fucking Mandarin. So we're just sitting there, and he's just like, it was this really weird, like it was an authentic tea table.
Right.
It was literally a table, but it had a sink all built in it. So you just heat the kettle up, and then you just
Right.
tip it straight on top of where it was.
It was all just there.
It was incredible.
A
And
little
he just
tap
kept,
was
we'd
plumbed
just be we're smoking these cigarettes. He gives me, I was like, mate, what are you doing? Mate, it was hilarious. Yeah.
But he was there chain smoking these durries, and then he's just offering. And I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't think you did at the time either.
I'd quit. I like 10, 12 months before
But we
that.
figured,
Well, we're in China.
Went in China.
When in
And Buddha,
Beijing.
and Buddha